He was on.
Everybody bring in a few days, but yeah, you all. They were nothing gets you over here. You two will be stationed with Spencer, Spencer will help guide you through six cutting.
And then there was somebody else said, no, the harvest.
Don't worry.
Some came to our defense and said, they're legitimate, we know them, they're good people. It just, it was a whole, it just.
We really ended that one.
I'm sure you did. You were watching all those comments come in.
Yeah.
You know.
I had to tell him about it.
And as we get going, once you really get
I
you actually
told
come up and actually like get a little bit closer and see the process.
I saw something on Facebook and I know it was you and Tom.
How long have you been on the election?
He's been on it for like 112 years.
So we are.
Yeah, Tom, you look good for you, right?
Well, thank you.
I've only
I don't
been.
know. What's that
Get
make
you over
you?
there, Spencer, you can sit in that seat.
130?
This is
You
my,
can monitor that
this is
mark.
my second major election.
Okay, yeah, and you can
I
monitor their
didn't
seat.
do, I couldn't do anything until I retired.
All right. 35 years.
35 years left.
I was back then.
Yeah. Awesome.
Back then, young troublemaker.
Now he's the
Everybody can see them and everybody can know what's going on.
All right, all right.
All right, we are just about ready now to rock and roll. We got everybody where they need to be. Yes, you're gonna see me sneaking behind you all quite a bit today.
Matt didn't say he just walked.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Did you do your Windows P to make sure you're outputting through the?
Sometimes with these sales.
You know what we're doing today? You know what your job is?
No.
Don't worry. It's gonna move the job by the time we're done.
Are you nervous? Yeah, nothing to be nervous about.
So it's,
Well, it's
Make
a
sure the
new
computer's
process.
outputting the video.
we're kind of excited about it.
Windows P.
It'll be really fun. It's a good time.
All right, you all have
Hands on experience.
And if anything goes wrong, I just want to say right up front, it's Tom's fault.
See, I've already blamed you two, so.
All right, Tom. You bet you're
Glad to see the clerk's office is behind us.
And we are 100%, but we're gonna
Way
throw
back.
you under the bus every time.
We can't miss an opportunity to do that.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, sorry. I put it over here.
Oh.
We're about to start this presentation. Okay, he's going to the bathroom. Drag your feet to start it, I guess.
Have either of you been front seat before?
So,
Well,
just a heads
I've
up,
been there,
while
but-
we're waiting on Dr. Kinsella, because he's gonna be the one who's.
More or less drove through.
Yeah, not much going on in
Spencer's gonna walk you through.
On the way up
He's
to
gonna help kind of
Michigan,
guide you through the
we
six
threw
steps.
down.
Where do you go at?
Get ballots out of those bags.
Well, we go up,
You're gonna take all of those ballots, you're
a
not.
little bitty town up in the
So all those ballots are
northern
gonna be in
part.
Single stack. We're then going to
Fish
shuffle those
town.
ballots.
I've never,
into six
I haven't gone up
So
that
it's
far.
basically like take.
I've only
Have
made it to
the
like St. Joe.
video?
Split the deck,
when you get off
you take
at,
it from the bottom, on top. And then you take it. flip it down, you can, it doesn't have to be the same kind of spot.
Go up 75 and get off.
Right.
And then you put them on top.
Okay.
And then you're gonna,
Six times.
Pound that is.
yeah, yeah.
We
So
can
it's good.
handle that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good with.
I can count to six, so we're.
I should be, I used to drive a truck.
And then what we will do,
My name is.
once you have that.
I have a lot.
I'll remember that all in about an
Top
hour.
ballot, so you fix that, we have that ballot ready for sample. Spencer's then gonna take that ballot from you, and he's gonna come over here, and he's gonna then, read off that result of that ballot to Gina, to Lisa, and to Austin.
Okay.
From that point, he will take the ballot and get it back to you, okay? And then you'll do it up, and you will set that one to the side and say, we need to sample another one from that same bag. And you're gonna keep 6 cutting. There's a good chance either your courthouse bag and your election day bag will have to sample like 10 to 12 out of that one. And so then Mark is gonna do the same thing with the election board. And so he's gonna walk you through getting those ballots into a stack and then 6 cutting those. Once you get your top ballot, Mark then is gonna take that ballot, he's gonna come over, he's gonna read those results, and he's gonna bring it back to you and put it to the side. Then you're gonna keep doing that 6 cut, you're gonna keep getting ballots, and then Mark's gonna take it, he's gonna go around the side and keep recording the results. You have to do that probably about 40 to 50 times, and then we're gonna be all done. So it should be a pretty quick process. But Mark will be able to help guide you through that 6 cut.
But that'll be,
Guide you
we'll
through
do that with each precinct, right?
It'll be each of those bags.
Well, each of the voter centers.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So
It's not every one of these.
Did
has
you?
to be
I'm
the same,
sorry.
Yeah, you're
right?
I didn't
fine.
even
So we're
see
gonna
it.
do all that sample in
The
just a
waves
second.
took me
Once we know what ballots.
Oh,
are
past
in,
this
we'll
and like
there's a
told
bag
me
that
to
we
like
don't
stop at a
know
random
what
house, and I
we
was like,
know
that's not it. So
Weird,
We're gonna
weird, yeah.
unlock the bags that we need to sample.
I was looking for all state vehicles.
And
Yeah,
awesome.
probably them. We are in the,
Aaron,
Survived it.
you have keys to the bag?
So
And here,
The elections worked out. Yeah, that's great. You ready to go? You're ready to
Go,
go?
boy.
I got,
All right.
I got like almost under control.
Get us to audit soup, and then I'll take it from there.
okay, sounds like a plan.
We are ready to go.
I didn't get started. Chance to stop for coffee, so.
Five.
I get way late. It's not one of my best mornings. All right, good afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation and talk about the audit that we're going today. So again, welcome. Very excited to be here. You guys are the first audit that we're kicking off. And on a personal note, I'm very excited. I grew up in northern Kentucky, so I'd always been on the opposite side of the river, and I used to stay at a bed and breakfast with my girlfriend, now wife, in Ghent, literally across the river. So I've been down 42 many times. So this is like, it was really nice to see the opposite side of the river. So anyway, it's nice to be here in Switzerland County. So again, we have our team. There is myself and Dr. Baga. We're the co-directors of VSTOP. And you get lots of acronyms: Voting Systems Technical Oversight Program. Matt Housley is right here. He is our audit specialist. He's the person who put everything together today. So everything that goes well today is because of him. Mark Chateau is right here. He is the VSTOP manager. We have Austin Bilbrey. He's our logistics specialist. Spencer's, I think you did make it. I was like, I thought you were the only person who did make it today. Spencer is our election. He certifies all the election systems that come through. We have Lisa Gray, who's our training and assessment specialist. And then Gina Caravaglia, who was my GA and now is the VSTOP GA, and she is also awesome. So real quick, an overview of VSTOP, what we do. So again, we're housed at Ball State. And again, this started, there was a grant, and Dr. Baga was on the original grant in 2007. I was still doing my PhD, so I just started actually. So at Cincinnati up the road. So anyway, when this came through, and it's expanded a lot since then, and Dr. Baga could tell you. So a couple of things that we do, and again, we've got it used to be it's in numbers or letters. So we do all of the election systems inventory. So because of HAVA, Help America Vote Act, back in 2000, that was passed after the Bush v. Gore and the whole thing in 2000, which seems like I was talking about that, like after this recent election, it seems like forever ago, and I was talking about Florida, and people were like, Florida was a battleground state? I was like, yes, it was. It was a long time ago. Anyway, so elections, we do all of the inventories. Anything bought with HAVA grants, we keep the inventory for that. Spencer does all of the voting system certification, so all of the voting systems. So there are 4 election vendors and 3 e-poll book vendors that do business in Indiana. They have to be certified through. It's a very it's a very long process. They have to go through they have to go through federal EAC certification, and then they come to us and they have to be certified. So that covers BNC. We do voting system and electronic poll book certification, random audits, which that's not this exactly, but it's like, so we will audit, and Duncan's the only person here.
Right.
Anyway, so because we have this inventory, we're able to audit and take a look at, and everybody kind of wheels out and make sure that they test all of their different things, all of their election equipment, make sure it works. Post-election audits, which we're doing today, that's become a bigger part. So this is the first of 7 counties that we're doing. We'll be all over. So we'll be here. We'll be in St. Joseph County. We're going to be in our home county of Delaware County, so I can just walk down the street. That'll be nice. But we'll be all over the state for that. Training and assessment. So we have a SEATS program that Lisa puts on. We also make sure that vendors have to train people to use e-poll books, particularly the poll workers. Technical consulting is kind of like a big coverall that's kind of as needed types of things, and then SEATS also part of training and assessment, and again, nationally award-winning program that we do to help election administrators throughout the state of Indiana and beyond.
Yeah, if I may add a couple of historical notes here. Dr. Kinsella mentioned our certification of voting systems and electronic poll books. We can all be proud of the fact that Indiana is one of the first few states that started doing electronic poll book certification, and we are very happy about that. Other states have learned from us, and so we feel good about it. We were one of the first to have a protocol for electronic poll book testing, and so the activities B and C take up a major part of our time. And we are good at it, and other states like that, and they come to us for guidance now, which we have preached about.
Yes, absolutely. So here's a nice map, and I love maps. It's like Indiana post-election audit. So you can see we started the first audit was done in Marion County, and we had like people, there was Ron Rivest from MIT came, and it was a whole big to-do, and just started testing things out. And since then, as you can kind of see, we've expanded. So between 2018 and 2022, we'll do audits in the primary and in the general. You can kind of see we've been all across the state. And again, as I like to joke, it's like I've had a lot of really good meals and coffee in many small towns in Indiana. So I've got to see more of Indiana than even my home state of Kentucky. But anyway, so we've been all over, and we've got several. You can see in blue the places that we are going. Yellow are the places that we did in the primary and this year. It was warmer then. But anyway, so in 2018 we were able to do a pilot of risk limiting audits. It supported, so again, National Associations of Secretary of States, the Election Assistance Commission, which is the federal government, National Conference of State Legislatures, Brennan Center. There's a whole lot of these different places that say the audits are a good thing, and there are a lot of states that are doing, and that might be on the next slide anyway. So we've done 29. This will be the 29th, so, and we've done Marion County twice. I missed that. It will be the 30th here. We've done 29 completed. This will be the 30th. And again, so I guess it's not up, but there are several other states that do this. So Colorado was one of the first out of the gate to do this a while back. And we picked up a lot of what they did. We had a consultant who would come from Colorado and helped us out when we first started as well. So Colorado does it, Georgia does it now, Rhode Island, Virginia, California, there are several states. I know Kentucky across the river, a former Secretary of State there is now they've just started, they're kind of starting at the point where we were in 2018. So we do have one up on Kentucky. Anyway, so post-election audits means it's an audit protocol that makes use of statistical methods. Don't panic. It's like my class, whenever I tell them statistical methods, it's like they're like, we're out. Anyways, it's designed to limit the acceptable levels of the risk of certifying a preliminary election outcome that constitute an incorrect outcome. All it is like we're using statistics, and it's one thing. This is not a coverall. It is one thing that we're using, one tool to make sure that to continue to make sure that elections were done correctly. So it means a sampling of ballots, and we will sample those ballots, and we can show with confidence that the election outcome was as correct as reported. And again, the last thing I'll do, and I'll turn it over to Matt, is the soup analogy. So the idea of this, it's like, so, and if you've seen polling, polling's kind of gotten a bad name, and polls were off again this year, as if you followed most of them. There were a couple that were a little bit closer than others. But the idea of polling back in the heyday, back when like you could do like you would have like a full population, and the idea is like you could randomly sample. It's like when everybody had landlines. Even my parents, they're in their 70s, they don't have landline anymore. But there was a point where everybody had a landline and you could sample everybody. So kind of what we're doing, the soup analogy is we're not doing a recount. A recount it's a lot of time and it's a lot of money. Clerks don't have the time for that. We don't have the time for that. But this is just, it's a one thing that we can do as one of many tools to ensure the election outcome was correct. And the soup analogy is, and again, Thanksgiving is coming up. And the idea is, it's like, if you're making a big vat of soup, so it's like, my dad is going to make soup, among other things. He's the big cook in our family. And you can tell by looking at me. Anyway, so he cooks a lot. Anyway, so he'll make a big vat of soup. And the idea is, it's like you don't have to eat all of the soup to know if it's good. The idea is that you stir it up, sample it, and take a sip, and we can know the more pepper, more vegetables, more salt, whatever. So we can take a sample. And essentially what we're doing is that. We're just taking a sample of these ballots and making sure that with that sample, if things come out right, then statistically it would suggest that it's the same thing. And ultimately it's really the same thing as like tasting your soup. You like stirring it up, taking a taste, and if it tastes good, we know it's right, and if it doesn't, something was wrong. And again, one of the nice things is every soup we've tasted here in Indiana so far, so to speak, in every county has been good. So no worries about that. Matt, I will let you take it over.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Kinsella. And so just a little bit more in depth here about the kind of post-election audit that we're going to be completing. So here in Switzerland County, they use Hart InterCivic as their voting system vendor here, and that allows us to complete a ballot polling audit because there are paper ballot cards. And so what we're going to be able to do with that is we are going to hand count and hand tally that sample of ballots, and that should align with the actual outcome of the election that was machine tabulated. And so the other kind of audit that happens here in the state of Indiana is called a comparison audit, and that takes place with voting systems that have direct record electronic machines. So you're actually recording your vote on the machine itself, and then there is a paper record that is attached to that. And then in that kind of audit, we will compare the paper ballot to that digital record. And so that is the second kind of audit that we do here at VSTOP. But this audit will be where we're actually hand counting, and you'll see Austin, Gina, and Lisa. Maybe not Austin because we're having a technical problem with that computer. But what you'll be able to see is we are actually going to have a tracking sheet on these computers. And so as we are pulling these ballots and sampling them, they will each get read the result that is on that ballot. And so you will be able to see the tallies for the races that will be selected, and you'll see that here in just a minute. So again, we're taking that sample, we're hand counting it until we can state with statistical confidence that if we were to continue to hand count all the way through all the ballots, that the outcome that we generated in this audit was the exact outcome that was actually correctly reported. So I'm not going to get too much into this. This is a lot of what I call the nitty gritty of the auditing, but we are using statistical methodology here. And so we do have to set what's called a risk limit. The risk limit is the chance that the audit would not catch an outcome error if there was one. So we set our risk limit for Switzerland County at 1%, which is the lowest risk limit that you can get. The only way that we could be 100% confident and setting a risk limit of 0, right? You would think you want the risk limit to be 0, but the only way that you can have a risk limit of 0 is if we were to hand count every single one of the ballots. Then we would be able to say with 100% confidence that we calculated all of those ballots and the election outcome was correctly reported. Again, the Indiana does not have recount measures that just allow the county clerk to say, hey, I want to recount all of our ballots. It must be the candidate or political party who requests that. So this is a great way to showcase your election results were correctly reported because Karen and the clerk's office volunteered to complete this audit. So this is voluntary in what they're doing. So again, we set our risk limit at 1%, which means at the end of this audit, we can say with 99% confidence that if there was an error in this election outcome, this audit would have caught an irregularity that could potentially progress it to then needing to be a hand recount. Again, on the flip side, I talked about the confidence level, so that's really what we like to talk about. The risk limit is the percentage that there is a risk that it wouldn't correct it. The confidence level is what we can say that it was correctly reported. So it's much better to use the confidence level. So we're going to go with anything above 91%. So the goal is to get as close as we can to 99%, but we are at the mercy of our sample. Just like you sample anything, there's always a chance, like if you're sampling soup, that you may get a little more celery in that chicken noodle soup bite than you initially wanted to, right? It's not that the soup is bad, it's just in that spoonful, right? So I say we are at the mercy of our sample. So when we are randomly sampling these ballots, we are at the mercy of that. And so if we draw a lot of ballots that are for the losing candidate, because that's what the sample had, that means we're going to need to sample more ballots to get us to our confidence that whoever won the election actually won the election. Okay, and so for us, the goal is to get anywhere between 91 and 99%. Okay, and it really will be at Karen and the election board's discretion that if we get close, maybe we hit 95%, and we want to keep sampling ballots to see if we could get closer to 99%, then that's something that we can do. But in statistical terms, anything above 10% in the election auditing world is considered highly significant. So with us going from 91 to 99%, that is a very, very high threshold of confidence that what we're doing today would ultimately end up showcasing that the election results were correct. There's a ballot inventory. So Karen sent me a list of all of the ballots. So as you can see, we got our bags here. All of the ballots are located in this bag. And so we are going to take the total number of ballots. So every ballot is eligible for sample today. And we are going to draw that live time. And we do that by using a random seed number. So I'm going to have all of you come and help me out here in just a little bit. And I'll explain about that seed number in just a second. But so again, Karen sent me it. So now we know how many ballots are in each one of these bags. And that allows us to be able to put it into our sampling tool to get a very random sample. One of the ways we do that is through rolling these dice. Computers are not inherently random, okay? So computers are machines. And so what we do is we create a pseudo-random number that allows us to draw the ballots. In order to show you all that Karen, the election board, and her staff did not just give us the ballots that they wanted us to sample because they know it would come out right, we are going to draw that live sample based on the seed number that we rolled today, which means nobody in this room knows which out of these 4,315 ballots in here, which ballots are going to be selected. So these dice and rolling these dice and entering it into our audit tool, which you will be able to see here once we get going with the audit, that will help us draw that random sample of ballots. So again, really great way to showcase. We don't know. We have no idea what ballots are going to be selected today until we start to roll those dice and generate that seed number. So here are the contests that we're going to do today. At the clerk and county election board's discretion, they were able to choose which contest that they would like to audit. And so Karen sent me, I sent Karen an email and said, here's what your sample sizes would look like potentially for some of your contests. And so Karen actually decided that they were going to go with President of the United States as one of their contests. These are just the election results here. You can see the diluted margin is 56.69%. What does that mean? The lower this number is, the more ballots that we need to sample. So if you all here in Switzerland County realize you have pretty wide margins in your contest, which means candidate A and the loser candidate B lost by quite a bit of votes. So that margin, that diluted margin there, the smaller that number gets, the more we need to sample, and it goes up exorbitantly. So that's why, since the margin is over 50%, for this expected race, we may only need to sample about 28 ballots.
And real quick, Matt, just to give you an idea, like we were looking at
yeah.
this, which is a very purpley county, and it's a much larger county up far north from here. And again, there like we would have to, I mean, the presidential contest, I think it was like 2,000 votes. Some of the local were even less. There's one race, I think it was it
30,000, 32,000
yeah,
ballots.
so I mean, it would, because they're so close, it would require us to sample so many more ballots.
So yes, actually, when we get ready, you'll see here on the next race, smaller margin, right? The number's a little bit lower, so it's a little bit closer of a contest. So that expected sample size was 41. It's a little bit larger than the 28 and 56% margin here. So as you can see, as the race gets closer, we need to sample more ballots. So Governor of Indiana was the other race that we selected, that Karen selected. And then County Commissioner District 2 was the third race that Karen and the election board has selected. This, of course, is the closest margin, which means we need to sample the most ballots. The goal will be to sample about 43 ballots for all three contests, though, because chances are as we go down that ballot, it's going to look very similar for most of those contests. So we will be able to probably get a good sample of about 43-ish ballots for all three contests. And then that will give us our level of confidence. So again, that level of confidence is variable. It's varied based on the sample that we have. It must hit above 91% for us to stop, but we can keep going if we want to try to inch up and get closer to 99%. We may not hit 99%. In Gibson County, in the primary, we sampled over 400 ballots between two races, and we got to 93% on one and 94% on the other. And they decided, you know what, we're okay to stop. And I was like, absolutely. You all can stop because it was above that 91% threshold. So it will really be up to Karen and the election board to make that determination when we hit above 91%, really where you would like to cut that off. Because again, sometimes you may not hit 99 until you get almost to a full recount at times, right? And so it all depends on how much time you want to spend auditing, but realistically, anything above that 91% is going to be good.
If I may add. So,
yeah.
So from what Matt and Chad have been saying, with these small numbers, we can get a very high degree of confidence.
Yes.
And that's the reason Indiana and many other states have selected to do risk limiting audits because they are incredibly efficient. You don't need to do a whole lot of effort to get a high degree of confidence. And like here, we can do it in half a day here and give you that confidence of almost 99%. And that's going to expand. And more states are now doing this, and this is going to become very standard. So I think we are on the right track here in doing these audits, the post-election audits, and see more of those happen.
Yes. And yeah, and typically Colorado started out doing it here, like where it's at the county level. Now they do statewide risk limiting audits. So it's where counties submit batches of ballots and they do it at an entire statewide level. So imagine drawing a seed number for the entire state to do their audit instead of just a seed number for us to do at the county level. And so many states start out doing it at the county level and end up beginning and ending at the statewide audits. Just a heads up so you're aware of kind of the responsibilities of everybody in the room and kind of who will kind of be taking on specific roles. So I will be managing the Stark audit tool. That is the audit software that we utilize. You will be able to see what that software looks like once we kind of really get rolling with the audit. So I'll be able to show you all that. Like I said, 3 members of our VSTOP team will actually have tracking sheets. So as we come up, if it's president, if we have a vote for Trump or a vote for Harris or a vote for RFK Jr., et cetera, they will actually be the ones to be recording those tallies. So you all will be able to see it. Austin's computer we had some technical difficulties with, so he will have our third contest on there. And so occasionally you may see him turn his laptop around, and that's so that way if you all, as we're doing this process, you all can see that. Again, this is a transparent process. Our goal is to really showcase that what we're doing has eyes in all parts of the process. Our county election board and county clerk staff, they will actually be doing what's called a six-cut method. And the reason that we have to six-cut this six-cut is because when we get the sample of ballots, it's just going to tell us how many ballots that we need to sample out of here. But in order for us to ensure that we're being as random as we can, we actually go through and do a six-cut where we're actually taking ballots and kind of cutting the deck, just like you cut a deck of cards. It's very similar. And we're going to do that 6 times, and then whichever ballot is on the top, that will be the ballot that is selected for audit.
Real quick, Matt. So, I mean, the 6-cut method. So, ultimately, what it is some of the other audits that we do, it'll tell us to go to a specific ballot. In this case, we can just do a 6-cut method. So, why 6? We used to do 3, and we actually talked to, the guy who created this, and he said, no, you got to do 6. We're like, why? Like, well, 3 seems so much faster. And they actually have done an experiment, and they found that 6 is enough cuts in order to get, to make the randomness that, and three doesn't, forgive the puns, cut it. And again, it's, I don't know, so we're in, so I play a lot of euchre, and hopefully you all play, like, this is euchre country, I hope. Yeah, it's like, I'm plays in Indian or not. It's like, so it's like, yeah, it's like my family, as the holidays are coming, they're cheaters. So it's like, yeah, we have to cut the deck and make sure, gives you, it makes that, the randomness a little different in football. What's that?
Euchre?
What's it?
Euchre.
Yeah,
different than football.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
A little bit. Watch football, play euchre. That's it. Play euchre while we watch football.
Not kidding. I don't know. I didn't know what it was.
It's a good 4-person card game. It's actually a lot of fun.
People know how to stack the deck. You can make it miserable. And my mother and my brother and my sister will all stack the deck. They're cheaters, so we have not as many 6, but if we have to cut that thing, it'll be.
And there's a lot of science behind it. I mean, it's not just us doing it. It's many states and many counties and many jurisdictions, and this has been well-founded and well-tested. Many respected scientists from institutes like MIT and Berkeley and others have tested it, and they've shown again and again that this is a very random method and we see great results. So we have great confidence in this.
Yeah, 6, and again, there have been experiments, and the 6-cut actually gives you the randomness that is needed and
Yes.
required.
In those comparison audits that I was talking about, the way those work, we can actually go to the exact ballot it's telling us. So if it's telling us to go to the 2,340th ballot in the election, the machinery that we have gives us the ability to do that. Could you imagine if this ballot bag had 1,300 ballots in it and it said go to ballot 800? And you had to count to 800. I mean, I can barely count to 20, like 25 without starting to lose my track, let alone 800. So by 6-cutting, that's what it allows us to do, is get that random sample without having to count to that exact value. So that about finishes up the presentation. Again, I just wanted to be able to give a little bit more context about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So that way people in the room have a better idea of what's going on, instead of just saying, well, I came to an audit and I did an audit, but I don't really know what they did. So hopefully now,
Along the process, please feel free to ask us.
yeah, I will say that Dr. Kinsella and Dr. Baga will be here, and as we get moving, it's kind of going to get a little boring. I mean, it's just like tabulating ballots. It kind of gets a little boring. And so if you have questions throughout the process, Dr. Baga and Dr. Kinsella will be here, and so you can ask them questions. Really, once we get set up and the ballots are where they need to be and organized, that'll take us about 15 minutes to do. From that point forward, it's going to be kind of moving along, though. So at that point, but really, I just want to say again, thank you to Karen, thank you to the clerk staff, thank you to the election board for volunteering to do this. I always say nobody even likes the word audit, number one. So to say I'm going to volunteer to audit is another big step, right? And so I just want to say thank you all for taking that leap of faith and having confidence in yourselves and being proud of yourselves in the election that you run and giving us the opportunity to affirm that for you. I'm going to go ahead. Do I have any questions before we actually get started and begin running this audit? Awesome. So then it's time to generate our seed number. Lisa, can I have you write down that seed number as well? I always like to have two people writing that down. And like I said, after we generate this seed number, it will take about 10-ish minutes for us to kind of get organized, because then I have to go into the audit tool, I have to type everything in and do all of that. So it will take just a little bit once we get the seed numbers on. And so we have 20 digits. We have 20 digits that we need to get. And so that means 20 rolls of the dice. So I think it would only be great to have Karen start us off. And so, give me just a second here. I want to count out my.
No pressure. Ooh, I like it. Pick the next one.
All right, go ahead and start us out. And then whoever else, you all can come up, get in line. We'd love for everybody to roll the dice. 7. All right, so 7 is our first number. All right, who's up next? Come on up. All of you can come on up. Roll that dice for us. If you all would like to roll the dice, or you'd like to roll the dice.
Yeah,
as well,
get
you're
up
welcome.
there.
Oh, 7 again. We're on lucky number 7 here right now. All right, who's next? Let's keep it going. Don't make me roll.
Oh, get up there. Let's do this.
Mark, you want to roll one? Get on up there.
Tom and Will is coming.
1. So we're at 771. Yep. 4. All right, 4. That number was 4. 2. Ron, get on up here. Yep. Come on, come on over here. Who else wants to roll? Johnson team will have you all roll as well. We got 20 numbers we need to roll. All right, 7. Oh man, 7 is the lucky number today. 0.
0.
I got 7.
2. All right. 1. All right, keep it coming. Everybody else, Karen, you can re-roll. Dr. Kinsella, Dr. Baga, go ahead and take a roll. You can hop in here, take a roll as well. 4.
We have 10 more.
All right, yes, that's what I'm saying. It's a process. Go for it. 7. You want to give it another roll? Go for it. On your way to 1. There we go. 4.
No. You gonna get up and roll?
0.
Be a part of this?
Zero, I can do better than this. Let's go.
Oh, 0.
0.
You have 5 left? All right, we got 5 left. All right, I'll roll 1. 4. All right, we have 4 more left. Karen, you want to give it another roll? 1. Yeah.
Hold on, Tom.
I'm coming up.
Give it another roll. 3. 6. All right, last roll, Lisa.
Oh, yeah. Save the best.
Yeah.
for last,
Number.
right?
2.
2.
All righty. So again, this number here is going to help us draw this random sample of ballots. So that's the exciting part, is nobody knows what ballots are going to be sampled, but this number here is going to help us out. So now it's going to, like I said, you're going to have to give me about 10-ish minutes. I will have the audit tool pulled up. You're going to see me typing in all the election results, getting on all the ballot totals in there, and then putting in this C number, and then I will show you all how to draw the ballot. So like I said, this part's the kind of boring part where everybody just sits around and kind of watches us here in the back kind of work and get everything ready. So, all right, give me about 10 minutes and we'll get things rolling. All right.
Let's get to it.
So you live in Muncie?
Yep.
My friends, well, my friends lived in Muncie since they were kids. They moved down here, but she retired from Ball State.
Oh, nice. Yep. That's where we're based out of, is Ball State. So we work on Ball State campus.
They were here earlier. Got the ones that came here originally.
Yeah. Matt,
Yeah,
yeah.
came here too, yes, he was.
So let me get on all these. Contacts.
People think this is just something we did decide to start, and it's been going.
Since
To get
2018.
to this point.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You guys have worked really hard.
Oh, I get it to duplicate.
Yeah, this election was it was busy,
A busy one, yeah. How was your election day?
very long.
Every election at the election day.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I got us at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh.
Got here at 6 a.m. I didn't leave the courthouse till after 10 o'clock that night. When I went home, I was ready for bed.
Well,
I had all I could stand.
Oh, I bet. I would have been exhausted.
Well, and I started out the day with a little bit of a sinus.
Oh, no, that's the worst.
By the end of the night, I was sitting in bed.
Oh, I bet.
By the time I got out of the courthouse, I thought, if I've got to look at one more ballot, I'm gonna just die.
Your system's faulty. Well, I'm glad you made it through.
One day we had about
Oh, we had a lot of long days.
It was an unbelievable line.
Wow, a good turnout. I seen that you guys had a good turnout.
Well, and then we were all, we also do the travel board. We'll go to people's houses.
Yeah, yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
So this year we
So that's what you guys got called.
yes. The elderly gentlemen, let's get it right. We were the two elderly gentlemen.
Harmless gentlemen.
Yes.
Huh?
I said they don't know Tom.
I think so, yeah. Probably. Colors. Half pops.
Wow, yeah, those are long days.
Alright.
Did you get any breaks in there? Any lunch breaks?
Well, we got an hour.
Day I was there. Oh, no, I was 16 hours. We didn't even have to change the bathroom.
No.
It was really.
It was, well,
Never seen Facebook
Well, yeah.
Live.
You gotta go, you gotta go. I mean,
Everything I was my first thing.
Yeah.
well, because at noon, we had to be at
You
the
were
courthouse
like
to
the
start
thing.
counting. So we were at the tech center until noon, and then we came over here and started counting. And we counted,
Envelopes still fit.
we,
Bet your hands were tired.
we counted till 10:30. 10:30 when we got out of here.
Wow.
You like coffee? What keeps you going?
We didn't even have a coffee.
No, we didn't even have time to fool that.
Oh my gosh.
And every time I turned around, somebody was bringing another bag in. They opened this one.
And so just so everybody is aware, this is what the Start Audit tool looks like. So as you can see here, just so everybody is aware of what I am typing in and can see it, and it's for the public record. There was 4,315 ballots cast in Switzerland County's election. And so that is what's actually going to go in the ballots cast in all contests. Then you can see here, I have our 3 contests and then the election totals for those 3 contests. So we have president, governor, and county commissioner District 2. And so all 3 of those races are in here with the vote totals that were reported by Karen and her staff. So all of those vote totals are listed in here. So that is the first part of the audit tool. I just wanted everybody to be able to see that and to acknowledge that the results that I'm putting in are the results that were taken from the official results. We set our risk limit there at 1%, so everybody should be able to see that. As you can see there, we had that expected sample size of 43. So that's what's going to be there. And so that's what you can see there. I'm going to get ready to input that seed number that we just did into the tool. And then we need to sample 43 ballots, but I'm actually going to draw a sample of 80 ballots. And so that way we have additional ballots. So should we get through that initial sample, right? And maybe that sample wasn't in our favor. Anybody who was at Gibson County, Dustin and everybody knows, we were fighting to get to our sample there. And we ended up getting there, but the sample was not our friend. And so I'm going to pull 80 ballots, so that way we have an additional double amount of ballots. Again, I don't expect that we're going to need those 80 ballots. We'll probably hit that confidence level within that 43 ballots.
Just to make sure it's clear, just because the sample doesn't come out right initially, that does not mean there was anything wrong. And again, the best example I can give you, we were in Clark County and we had a race. It was essentially, we needed to do a Democratic race there, and we ended up doing somebody versus nobody in a county commission race. It was whoever won county commissioner race versus undervotes. And then, I was excited because we were going to go in Jeffersonville and all the stuff and was ready to go. And just the randomness of it, we ended up pulling so many undervotes that we had to draw another sample. I was very disappointed. I was ready for lunch. So anyway, but so it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It's just that's just the randomness of it. So we just have to pull some more. And then sometimes not. It all comes up really.
Alrighty, so everybody can see that seed number listed here on the, actually I'll pull that up full screen now. That seed number is listed in there, so that's the exact same 20-digit number that we just drew. So I entered that in there, and then we're actually going to be able to draw our sample of ballots. So what it's going to do is draw us that sample of ballots that we need. And it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. So I'm gonna, once we get to the point where we need to go, I'll show you and it'll make a lot more sense. So give me just a second.
Is that 40 in each one of those bunches there, each one of them groups?
What was that?
Is that 40 in each one of them?
So all of these here, what you're seeing here on the screen, that is actually the list of, it may not be 80 because there was 2 duplicates. So 78 total. And so this, if we were to actually count to the exact number of ballots out of 4,315, instead of doing the 6 cut, these are the ballots that we would need to sample. So if we started with the very first bag, we would need to do ballot 119, ballot 186, ballot 419. So if you were to take the whole stack of ballots and put all 4,013 in a stack, that is what it is saying. But of course, we're not going to count to those. So that's where we are actually able to do that 6 cut method. So that is what you're seeing here.
And that's per voter center?
What? No, this is total.
Total.
You'll see in a second, I'm actually going to get ready to pull up that ballot inventory, and you will be able to see where all of those ballots lie. So give me just a second, because that's what we're going to be pulling out. So this is what Karen had sent me. This lets us know out of those bags where and how many number of ballots are in each one of those bags. So there's 1,910 ballots in our early vote courthouse bag. There is the 5 absentee other locations that have 247, 149, 71, 174, and 249. There was a total of 195 ballots that were mail-in ballots or emailed ballots through Democracy Live. And then the election day, of course, which is a large sum of ballots as well, which is 1,320. That equals that total ballots, 4,315. So in order to get this to look nice in the tool, I took those exact same things and put it into a single line Excel sheet. So that's what you're seeing here. So now I'm just going to copy all of this. And this now is going to go into the tool up here. So there's that ballot inventory. Again, as you can see there, the early courthouse, the enterprise, the mail, all of those numbers match in that spreadsheet. And then it is going to, I'm going to select lookup ballots. And now we have ourselves our exact sample of ballots that we're going to need. So now I have to do a little bit of work on my end to actually take this and say, okay, how many do we need to sample from each bag? Because what this is telling me is that the 119th ballot lies in the absentee early courthouse bag. And again, it's 119. So could we imagine if we had to sit here and count to, let's see which one's a far one. 1,020, there's a 1,020 on here. And so what I actually have to do is I have to take this and then turn it into how many ballots from each bag do we need to sample, not the exact ballot. And so that's what I'm going to get ready to do. And then I'm going to print out that list. And so I do have to unplug this so that way I can plug in the printer and get a list printed. But that way you can all see this is what the actual sample is going to look like. And so in just a second, once I kind of get it all organized, I'll pull it back up and then I will say, okay, from each bag, this is exactly how many ballots we need to sample. All right, so give me just a second. Like I said, I got to unplug this and get the printer plugged in so I can get that sample out and we will be good to go.
Do you ever do any of those and actually do the real count?
Yes.
How do you ever come up with the same answer twice? I can't imagine how you can possibly do that.
So we do not do that for this kind of audit. We never do it for this because of that reason to count. It could be just really inconsistent like that. For the DRE counties, so those are those microvote counties where they use the direct record electronic machine and the BVPAT. That BVPAT is actually on a toilet paper roll, is that's what it looks like. It's kind of like a toilet paper roll or a receipt roll. If you've ever seen like a receipt roll at the checkouts, that's what it looks like. And so there, we actually have a tool where they can actually say, go to ballot 1020, and it will take that roll and spin it to get it to ballot 1020.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
They actually have a video of the past audit that we did that I can show you.
Yeah, so if you are curious to see maybe what that looks like, Gina may have a video of that so you can kind of see what that looks like. But for these kinds of audits where we're actually hand counting and sampling paper ballots, it's never really feasible unless the election maybe had 150 ballots total, then sure, we could run that and get the exact number. But to do this, it would be right. It would, you could get all the way to 500 and lose your count, and now what, right? So we never do it that way. So what you're going to see here in just a second when I pull it up will make a lot more sense to you. So give me just a second.
And again, among the many new things that we stop and the state of Indiana has done, that roll that counts it automatically, we stop helped create that with the vendors. So the vendor asked us, hey, what do you want us to do? And we said, well, you should be able to very quickly roll with a little motor and not by hand, but it just moves on its own and goes to that 127th ballot. So they took those specs from us and they created that machine, which we tested. That machine is kind of unique in the entire country. Nobody else has something similar to that. So that's another innovation that Indiana is proud of or should be proud of.
Then we will unplug this. I'll unplug it and then I will get the spreadsheets to you all here in just a second. So what I did now is I took that sample. As I said, I was originally going to sample 80 ballots, but then there was those 2 duplicates, so we removed those. So now you see this nice list here. That's what, does everybody see my screen? Okay, so now what I just took was that 78 ballot list, and now we know exactly where we need to go. So in the courthouse bag, if we were to sample all 78, right, we're going to start from the courthouse and go down. But if we started to, there'd be 34 ballots per sample in there, 6 from East Enterprise, 5 from Moorfield. So now we know when we pull out the courthouse bag and we stack them up, that we would need to sample 34 ballots from there. That's where the majority of them are going to come from, or from that tech center, right? And so I'm going to take this list, and now I got to send it to them, so they have the list of all the ballots that are ready. And then from there, they'll pull up their audit sheet, so you'll get to see, or the tally sheet, so you'll get to see those. And then we will begin to actually take them out, ballots out of the bags, and then we actually begin to sort them. And so what we did was take the exact number of ballots and said, well, we don't need the exact number. We just need the amount that we need to sample from that bag. The 6 cutting is what's going to give us that randomness to be able to pull that out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so give me just a second. Like I said, I have to then take this information. I got to send it to them, email it to them, then they got to pull it up. So again, this is where this 15-minute process kind of is a little disjointed. So give us just a second. All right, so let me go in.
Yeah.
So this was actually at Boone County when we were doing the audit on their DREs. And so this is
Boone
the
County, Kentucky.
Indiana.
It's over in Zionsville, but you know where Zionsville is, Indiana? Around Indianapolis.
Yes.
Yep, that's where Boone County is.
Yes. So these are what are called rewinders, and this is the paper trail. So when you go to vote on the machine, there's a digital record and then there's the paper trail. And so it's on that big long receipt roll that Matt was talking about. And we have these machines that if you want to go to a specific ballot, sorry, see how it's spinning? It reads them very fast and it takes you to the ballot that you need to go to. You can see how fast that's spinning. Yeah.
Man,
Yep. And it reads the barcodes as it spins. That's how we're able to do it so quickly.
holy mackerel.
Yeah. So, pretty cool.
There's the end of it, okay.
And so they have the digital record pulled up and they match it to what the paper trail says.
Red flashing light must be taking a picture of it or something.
So there's a QR code, correct?
There's some timing marks on the side of the sheet. So the red one keeps track of the timing marks and it knows how fast it needs to go based on that. And then there's a green light that's scanning the QR codes. So that's what pulls up the digital record on the computer. It matches back to that paper record. And we've also got like a 15-digit number that we can match on those two records as well to make sure we got the exact same one.
Yeah. That's cool.
Very interesting stuff.
Did you want to see it, Luke?
No, I saw it.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to email you all the audit sheets now. And then you can get those pulled up. They should be good. I have all 78 ballots. Like I said, if we get really moved in, we're hitting our conference. It's fine if you want to keep going. Yes, I was thinking that way. So I'm gonna put it up. I just have to have you all ready for this. I should have to. Once I send you the sheets, yeah, then we're gonna put them on each bag. There's only one. Okay, so. President. Or if you want governor, you want county commissioner, they can go down the ballot, it'll be easier to go down the ballot. I'm email to you now. We have those orders that you guys do, because that's what I'm. Sorry, it's reading my one. That's my market. Everybody's gonna get the same sheet, but it'll be.
You have to open every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Key,
No,
I mean, for each bag. I mean,
yeah, for each pack is one key.
I want 2 keys. There's not a key inside any of this.
No.
Matt will tell you just in a moment what you're gonna do with this.
Actually, we're working on that getting pulled out.
So what we're gonna do is these sticky notes, once you actually sample that ballot, you can put a green sticky note on it. The reason that we do that is it just helps give you an audit integrity. So that way then these ballots are gonna remain sealed, of course, for 22 months. So if anything were to ever be called into question, we would be able to know exactly which ballots that we touched. So, for us, it's just about integrity and about the kind of chain of custody process. And so once that ballot has been sampled and is brought back to you, so Spencer's going to be your ballot runner, he'll come over. He's going to then call the races on each ballot, and Mark will do the same. When he gives that ballot back to you, you're going to take that green sticky note and you're going to put a sticky note on it.
And we put it back in the pile.
Yeah.
So when we're doing the 6 cut,
Yeah.
that would become,
So if we have to sample, like say for the courthouse, there's like 34 that we need to sample from there. What you'll do is, once you sample it, it actually stays out of the pile.
okay,
And then you'll just keep sticky noting those ones and adding it to that pile. Then at the end, once you're done with that bag, all of those ballots can just go right back in that bag. And then you can all in there. Then just so that way, again, we know then which ballots were audited, right? But once you actually sample that one and take it out, if we have to continue to sample out of that bag, that one stays out of the pile. So that way then we don't audit the same ballot twice.
that makes sense.
All right, so then you all should have it. Yep, it'll be X in the columns, so that's something to note. It must be an X for it to register an account in those columns. So you all have the in your thing, you'll see them. There's no actual number, right? Because we don't have the exact ballot. So in that list, you should just see like ABS courthouse, ABS courthouse, ABS courthouse. You just go down the list until we hit where we need to hit. Okay? In terms of these, so I could have Karen and the election board go ahead and get out. It looks like we'll go ahead and we're going to tag every one of these ballot boxes or these ballot bags. So that way we have them all open and ready. And so if you want, go ahead, you guys can come over and unlock these ballot bags. And then what I will do is I have the
Left enough space.
So yeah, like I said, so what we'll need to do is Karen, if you want to come over here. Perfect. Okay, so then give me just a second. And then I'll hand you the sticky note and you guys add it on the back.
Are we just gonna do the sticky note, Matt?
Yeah, I'm just gonna lay it out real quick. Yes.
You know how to layer this?
You want them all open now?
Usually on my
Yes,
personal.
yeah, you just like to leave them unlocked. You can leave them zipped until we actually need to open the bag. But yes, if they could be unlocked. And then if you just want to set them potentially on the floor right here in front of us, that would be great. This will be for Karen.
That goes on the courthouse.
It's a mail in.
Got it. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Get worried there, Will.
Okay, I should have just gone with the Windows laptop. Oops.
That's fine. You need to get like a bag, HDMI cables.
Yes.
Travel bag.
That's the mail.
That's what
If
we
we
had,
did.
but somehow, two of the people.
We just rate it over all the.
Yeah, that's. This one is the
Display cables.
Yeah.
What?
This is a display cable.
Display cable.
Looks like
Display
HDMI, but it's just one corner is chomped on. It's a display. That's what
Display
it's called.
port.
Yeah.
That's what they're called?
Yeah.
Austin was calling them P port.
It looks like a P, I didn't know it was a D.
It's a DP.
Yeah, it's
DP.
That's what, okay, it's D, yes, okay.
It's a D with a P inside, but I think.
So
There's Patriot.
I made a note, and
Yep.
just so for whenever, next
Not
time he's
yet.
gonna take them out, it's
Patriots.
I've labeled them already and set aside.
Yeah, yeah, we just need the
So the
dongle. I
only
think
one
the
that
dongles
just
have a
gives out
display port.
text center
Maybe they
one.
don't. I can't.
Talking about like,
That was not.
Those little iCling
no,
dongles
I don't
we
think
have
so.
like on the counter, on the table in the conference room.
Display? No, it probably
Just
has
has VGA and
VGA and
HDMI.
HDMI.
Yeah, I guess so. So maybe we'll need some. We might have. I guess we could get some HDMI to DisplayPort adapters. That might be the cheapest solution. I don't know. No, I don't know.
Get one of the hockey pucks. Those have HDMI display and VGA.
Oh, yeah. Only another $80 a piece.
Yes.
Tech center. Tech center two. Okay, this.
Yep, text center one will not need to be open. That was not selected for sample.
Okay, tech center one was not selected, so we're gonna put that over there. I have mail, literally mail. Oh, mail, email.
Like I said, we may not end up needing all of these ballots, but these are the ones that were selected.
Tech center election day? Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Oh, is it the, the
So then,
aforementioned?
at this point,
Need it open? Yeah, but there's only one that I need to come. Maybe last one first and we start trying. Maybe that thing is just.
Bags of tables.
And that one doesn't get off.
that one was not selected.
Tech center one.
Tech center one.
All right.
So this election was turning count. Marion, Allen, St.
For like 10 or something. I was looking on like
Yeah.
That was the whole point I thought, was that you're just looking at yours, then you don't gotta cross them off.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Whatever.
All right, everyone, so now we are gonna actually begin the sampling process. So you should see on my screen, you should see some red boxes there. So every about 10 or so ballots, we will be, oh, I did forget to mention, we are going to sample all three races on the same ballot, okay? So these ballots that we are selecting, when that ballot comes up, we are gonna read down all three contests and mark the selections. So as you can see on their screens, Austin is a little bit smaller because we had a monitor problem. And this is where, again, we'll let you all come all the way up through to the white table so you can really come up here and see. The only thing is we just don't want anybody in the vicinity of where the ballots are being handled. And so, for example, if the first ballot is a ballot for Trump, and then a ballot for McCormick maybe, and then a ballot for Bennett, we would actually then go down and select those choices, and they're going to be here on these tally sheets. So these tally sheets will update automatically. So at the top, you'll see a running total. So we'll be able to see what those totals are. We'll start out with 20 ballots. So after the first 20 ballots have been sampled, I'm actually going to enter those totals into my tool. What will happen is we're going to be looking for a green bar on the winner. So for Trump, Ron, and Bennett, because they were the winners of those contests, once we get that green bar underneath all three of the others, so for Harris, Oliver, and RFK, once we get green bars next to them, that means that we've hit our level of confidence that is needed. We did set it at 99%, okay? So we're waiting to see those green bars for 99%. If we get through about 50 ballots and we're not at 99%, that will be a conversation for the election board and Karen to have. Maybe we've reached 97%. And then they will decide, okay, we have reached the level of threshold of confidence that we are comfortable with. We're going to go ahead and stop. And that's what we did in Gibson County, was once we hit that 94%, we had sampled about 200 and something ballots for one contest, and they were like, okay, we're going to go ahead and stop.
We've reached above that 91%, which is that threshold that we must meet in order to stop the audit. And so then you all can make that determination at that time. Okay, so again, what we're looking for is for all 3 of these or all 5 of these red boxes to be green. And hopefully they're all green with 0.01, which means that was our risk limit of 1%. All right, so let's go ahead. We'll have the election board members. You guys can go back to your station. Spencer and Mark will actually be getting those bags for you and bringing them up. We have 2 stations that will be 6 cut. So station 1 may be looking at the mail-in votes, and section 2 may be looking at the absentee courthouse votes, right? And so we'll go ahead, we'll put you all over here on ADS courthouse. So we'll start out with that bag over here for team A, and then, yeah, so you all did get a big one. And then let's go ahead and do East Enterprise for team B over here.
East Enterprise.
East Enterprise.
So we want ABS courthouse?
Yes, yeah, you're looking at the absentee early votes. Yeah.
Okay, we got early vote, I need ABS.
Oh, that's it. Is that early vote? Yes, that works, yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
my bad.
yeah, those are the absentee in persons, right?
And then we put them all together, right?
Yes, so you're gonna take all of those ballots
6 different.
and you're gonna stack them all into a nice big old stack.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sorry about your precinct sorting.
Okay.
Well, that's all right.
The envelopes are still with.
Let's look at this tag again. That's a lot up there for only be picking 6 here.
And that is the case. There may be, let's see here. It
It's
looks like-
East Enterprise.
Yep, East Enterprise, it looks like the total in that was.
6.
Yeah, there's 247 ballots in that ballot. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of ballots.
So we just pick, these are just the envelopes. They're empty.
Okay, so the envelopes are empty, so we don't.
Yeah,
oh,
okay. These are just our ballots in here.
Okay.
Oh, sure,
So
yeah.
we'll have to-
Or they might want to start a tally.
Yeah.
If you all want, you can kind of.
Let's see.
just like blank pieces
Those
of paper.
were-
Or if
we
you want
forget
to
that
just
'cause the rubber
tally,
band's
So you know how many went through.
Well,
But we'll
yeah,
also be tracking.
each
that
one of
for a
these
couple
are
of-
by
Also, do you?
York, by precinct. That was voted at East Enterprise.
I said it's like taking your deck of cards, you find a little card.
So-
Take the bottom and put it on top.
So this is already separated by precinct.
Okay, we separate every one of these by precincts.
Yes.
Put them in there.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to put them all in the stack.
Take all of them and put them in one stack.
One stack.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, so this is where that 6 cut, you get to determine
Okay, now
where
put
you
them
want
together.
6 cut those ballots. You can maybe take a little top stack, you could take a bottom stack, you could take a middle stack. And so what you're gonna need to do is when you 6 cut that, take the whole top comes up and the bottom comes to the top.
Okay.
Okay? So you're gonna have to 6 cut that multiple times. That's a
Goes
huge
on
step.
top of it?
Yeah. As best you can.
Yeah.
And if you.
Okay, this is.
That is great.
It's easier though, I will say that if I would have gotten your ballot inventory in precincts, that would be a lot less, right? You would have to cut as much. Yeah.
Two.
That's great.
Got room now?
You pass me 6 figures, so I can do Tom and the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we separated them by precinct when we were putting them in here.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys give me your ballot inventory to get votes. If I would have gotten these precincts, then we would have had a different.
Yeah.
Yeah, all good. Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a piece of paper if you need to take any notes to track how many that you've done or tally how many you've done, you can
This is six.
We'll do tallies. All right, so you take this and you cut it somewhere, and you put the bottom on the top.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We got easy.
Got easy.
We got cut 'em.
So that would work. You cut that, and then put, you keep them the same, cut in half, or we'll just like split them into two piles.
You want
So that way, and then you put the, that one,
Now, if you
and
want
then
to
you
put
put the bottom on
so
top.
that when he comes back around, so be ready for that next ballot, you can do that.
Okay, all right, and then we do it again. So that was one. So now split it again somewhere else, put that on top. Yeah, put this whole
All
stack
down?
of it. Two cuts. All right, now do it again. Some other place, just in the pile. Yep. Boom. Back on top. There's three. Yep.
Four.
Yep.
That's the one thing is that.
Cut them a couple times, Tom. Five.
That's a good cut. This is
Cut 'em one more
the
time.
big one. Awesome.
We got
Six. So that's our ballot.
That one right there on top is the ballot we need.
Yep. I will get these recorded. Okay.
Absentee enterprise right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's theirs.
We've got.
No,
we're
we
gonna
gotta
do five more. Yeah, so you guys can start cutting for the second ballot.
Yes,
You want
yeah, you guys can
another
keep
six
cutting now.
cuts.
We got 6 of them.
Yeah, we have to do this 6 times. So you got one ballot. I'll mark it down. All right, Harris.
One,
Right, so this is where.
two,
And some of those.
County Commissioner District Two.
Remember? No, we did that, never mind.
3,
Okay, and then this one is done, so it gets a post-it note and we'll set to the side.
That means you're gonna have four. You're going back and forth. Yep, County Commissioner District Two.
5, 6.
I know.
All right.
And that's our ballot.
That's our ballot.
Half of it. So that.
Perfect. All right, we've got a Trump.
Do you drink that anyway?
One.
Keep on. So this makes me got Ben.
3, 2.
And the goal is.
Yeah.
4, 5. Cut this ballot. And there's number 6.
All right.
Ballot.
A Trump. Yes. Brown. And that.
Nope, we gotta do it some more. We got
Yeah, you have to do 6 of those.
6, we got
6 total ballots.
6 ballots.
Yeah.
Yep, so we've got, nope,
No,
that was 3. Yep.
This one is a courthouse.
Yeah.
Anything about.
Yes. I know, I was thinking I may have to have them split rest. It's just seems too unrealistic. Go ahead.
34 times.
Yeah. If you want, go ahead and take half,
4,
cut the deck in half, and then sample from that half, and then once you get done with that one, do a half from the other one. Makes sense?
Getting it quite a bit.
There you go. So now you can 6 cut from that pile, and then 6 cut from that pile. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So then, once you sample that one, then move to that.
Okay.
That'll be a little bit easier.
there's your,
And then.
Fourth ballot.
there's your 4th ballot.
Okay.
Much easier.
Here's this one. Just look,
Yeah, this corner looks like
that
it's
looks
not
weird,
too
doesn't it?
bad.
A lot of.
You all are gonna be sore in the morning.
Yeah. Trump. Brown.
There's 1,
And that.
no, that's just 1. Two.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah. And then if we do just each other one, we'll go six. And it'll still be
Three.
I was excited because.
All right, yeah, courthouse coming up here.
Five.
Never came across it.
Six. There's the balance.
All right.
One more to go.
All right.
Okay. There's one.
And we're up.
Two. Three. Four.
Nice the way they both say it. That way you can.
Five.
So you get a better, yeah.
Pass it back and forth.
Makes it very fair.
Six. All right. And then I guess we can put these back at this point in the bag.
So do you?
And we will put these audited ones right on top.
Oh, it's Adrian.
All right, what's our next bag?
Adrian.
Well, we gotta make sure that the count comes out before we put them away, right?
Yep, those can go away.
They can go away.
Yep.
No matter, and then we gotta come back and sample more.
We've sampled everything we needed to sample out of there. If we have to sample more, it'll be out of the election day. We
Okay,
haven't sampled yet.
okay.
Yep. I think you guys got like 34.
Oh, 34. We got.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, Patriot.
Just keep giving us a little bag.
That'll tell you.
I mean, they got the same good ones. So
Yeah,
I think we're good.
wow. That's the amount
I
now.
think we're in the clear at this point.
You only need one ballot out of Patriot, so that is the.
Oh, okay, sweet.
We only need one ballot out of here. We got 6 times we do.
And you got to do it 6 times, yes.
One.
Can you snap some photos?
Okay, all right, that looks like our pile.
Okay. Got 6 times. What's this? That was a, how's that?
Full ballot.
It's a whole ballot. That's when we had to count by hand. I guess.
Oh, no,
Right, courthouse coming up.
One,
You just said that you may not.
No, it's not sure.
2, 3,
It was on the end of the.
Yeah, so that'd be our.
Six.
Well,
Yeah.
glad that was winning coming on top.
What do we got here?
All right, Patriot, let's go.
Patriot says Harris. And Yeah, I posted it.
Have you figured it out?
Go through there.
So then, Mark.
There's two of them.
Tech Center 2.
That's right. It was.
It's crazy you even got one. We had 12 votes and we got one of us. Wow. Yeah, you're like, who is this?
Here's the sticker for that one.
Here's the next one. Oh,
Which one's this one? Here it is.
Tech Center
Yes,
2.
Tech Center 2 was your next one. And like I said, they're moving over here too. So once we hit that 43, we're gonna stop it. And we'll see.
What do you think is so far, Will?
What's that?
What do you think is so far?
Like, who's winning?
No, are you having fun?
Oh, yeah, I always have fun.
Is the thick cut hard?
Now,
And what about you, Tom? How you doing?
doing good. I already feel like I'm a 40.
The buckets here, at 18 ballots out of the 43 will just.
Yeah, we're almost halfway done. Yes.
As long as the numbers come out. And like I said, we would take that as you can, the risk was as long as it's time.
Four.
Oh. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, the only people who were not included in this is write-in. So if you have a write-in on your ballot, we will allow you to select the next one on top. So it's easy.
Huh?
I don't think you will have.
All right, how many do we need out? of this? Four? We need 4 out of this. Okay, let's start it out. There's one. Two. Three.
So when I come to
Five. Six. There's your first ballot. Okay.
Right there. We got.
Now, now, there's one. Cut them, Tom.
Oh.
Four.
Two. Three. Four. Five. Whoop. Six.
Right. Thank you, sir. You got me. There's probably.
One. Two. Three. It's all right. Fine. That is a good one, Tom.
This is it. This is it. I'm gonna go to a casino again.
I heard Switzerland County has one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're a casino.
They have one.
Down by Marco.
They'll take as much of your money as you will.
They'd enjoy it too.
Yes.
We go down there and change the.
Where more to go?
Yep, those ones.
How far away is it from here?
5 miles.
You have it down to a T.
Exactly.
Down the road.
It's actually 5.3 miles.
Oh, there it is. That's there it is.
Compared to the golf course.
Leave me, I'll drive down there to the top floor of the fucking garage park next to the elevator. I go in my house and get there in the show and.
That way there.
No, we ain't done.
You got one more.
We got
One more down. I do you really want to get to that.
Your favorite game to play there?
One, right?
I don't know.
Well, nothing in recent years. I'm over it. Two, my favorite was blackjack.
Oh, yeah.
Me too, I like blackjack.
I'm not really good for gamble. Too bad for that. We might-
There's 5, I get to count the winner.
Oh, yeah.
All right. let's
Yeah.
do it.
Splash.
Bring it on.
There it is.
All right.
Donald J. Trump. He won.
Spoiled that one. Got Brown.
I like doing.
Oh, is it? All right. Now I'm just gonna put this back.
All right, what did you say? It's got me distracted.
See what your next
There.
bag is.
Look how them big green.
You can one on the band. Put one again.
So Monday,
Yeah.
measure off, will be your next one.
I just go there
More
and push
field.
buttons and usually leave empty-handed.
I'm gonna say I've always left. I've left with less than I've left, more than I've left.
Yeah.
before.
What's the most you want?
Five.
We gotta get 5 out of that?
Yep.
All right. We gotta cut 6 times, 4 times, or 6 times.
6 times.
We gotta do a whole lot.
2, 5.
Oh, here we go. Soil balance. We don't want that in here at all.
No, no.
I want to try.
The whole pile.
Okay, that's some ones that we,
Something was wrong with.
Somebody might have needed to redo it or something.
That's what we have to do.
Casino coming in. Oh, I didn't see it. Yes.
Box of Andes.
If you just sub out too, Aaron, Dustin is also able to, as our election director, to handle this balance. So if you did need to sample out, we can call it, if you call it.
are you girls trying to get out of work over there?
They got I think.
We did.
There's no work this comp on this job.
Just be glad there's other people here because you know what I would be saying to you right now.
How much you love me.
Yes. Whoa, I need help.
Yeah. Yep, we're good. We're rolling right along.
Samples we gotta get out of this pot.
6.
It did move it, so I went to the.
You got
Yeah, I was the first one out.
Oh,
No.
we're still stacking.
They're still stacked. Okay, now they're stacked.
Please.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Here we go, Moorfield.
We're off.
There's 1.
Lucky you, man.
I'm allergic to this stuff. 5.
Oh, it's just your time.
6.
That's it, right there.
That's number 1. We gotta do it 5 more times.
5 total.
5 total, okay, 4 more times.
Trump. On more.
They got a lot from that house. They do have a lot from that court.
That and election day were there.
2.
Yeah, we're getting all the.
3.
Oh.
When you get a chance, just sign in. Or get out.
6. That's number 2. We gotta do 3 more.
This is all more cool.
2.
So right now, there's so they're just coming up with your photo sheets.
So far, we have sampled.
So we have pairs.
We're working on the courthouse balance right now.
4.
We sampled Moorfield early vote, we sampled Patriot early vote, and we had sampled Tech Center 2. So those are, so currently they're working on Moorfield right now.
Here it
And then
comes.
after they're-
Right about there. Go there. There's number 6.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
It is. It's another brown. And the one is bent.
You two work good together over here.
We're
Champion of champions.
Yeah.
we're like 2 finely oiled machines.
I do give them a hard time.
They talk about you again.
Yeah,
You think all this really bad.
we're not like the courthouse employees. 3. Pick the winner, Tom. Pick the winner. Do one more time. You gotta cut it one more time.
Here it comes.
Change the whole NASCAR idea.
No, you didn't do it.
Another Trump.
We got one more to go.
Another brown.
1 more, Tom.
More.
One more cut.
More.
Tom,
You need one more for
They
5.
really would be making Facebook posts about you then.
They show right there, that's the rest of the there's only 1%.
2.
Something they have to know, that it ends up being like 0.04. They can stop if you talk about. But I said it as 1%.
4.
So we're approaching 40 ballots. So once we get to that 43 ballots, so that was our threshold.
Oh, this was the last one we gotta do.
This is you're right, this is the last one for this
But
one.
it could be 0.02, which would mean that's a 2% risk on them instead of 1. So then what I can do is, if we don't reach that, the thing is that it's because the risk limit has to be set as something, so I can adjust it, and then you can rerun, and then everything will be green. So right now, it's because I had to set it as 1%.
They were actually full of project.
So we actually have a slide. Keep going, which most of those workhouses, they're only about 15 that or 18 that there. And so, and they're making because of the smaller stats to cut, and so they're gonna get no on probably. And so I think there was an additional 30 ballots in the election. Good sample.
Austin. No, get in it, you know.
How are you? Just you for.
It's just really, it's based on a set risk limit, and so I always set higher rather than lower.
We need
So I'm like, might as well shoot for the moon to start, and if we can't make it to the moon, then we'll just, or if we can't make it shoot for Mars, we can't go to the moon, and that'll be fine, so. I say, I'm like, this is exactly what the modeling that we use is how they make projections.
We didn't really get, we weren't really a big part of that. I believe that was the downstairs little bit.
Like, it's for my fine.
They didn't let us down to the boat.
Because they're using.
They kicked us out every time we come down.
No boys allowed.
Correct. Yeah, it's got
This is margin of error, and that's what that risk limit is the margin.
Nope, this is our next one.
How many, you gotta get those?
Like I said, that should be. If you were.
Yeah.
We won't pay them, we put 99% of all there's just no way. We keep, simply will not. Because sometimes we're doing there is 700.
Oh, we're not there.
But it was only one.
What do you say?
Oh, no. What is left?
They do microvote.
One's
This is yeah, some of these are federal balance.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking about that.
Well, we didn't know if they switched to because we have a printed paper right there. So we checked those after the election. No votes were switched after the election. No.
I just have to use every year.
So that's what we do. Don't set us up for failure here, Ron. All right? I think we we're gonna put it in, we'll see what our confidence is.
It should be very applicable.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that here. I'm sure you, yeah, you'll find some. Making it very real time.
That's going to be, online.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oliver?
Yeah, I think I may. Can't take it. Later on in the details, we can get but now for the one picture, yeah, so what's happening, how will it affect?
All right, everybody. So here's where we're at. Based on our 43 ballots that were for sample in the presidential race, 33 were for Trump, 9 were for Harris, 1 was for Oliver, and 0 were for RFK Jr. That race is complete with 99% confidence that that election outcome was correct. In terms of the governor's race, out of those 43 ballot or those 40 ballot sample, because we had some undervotes there, so we don't record those undervotes. So we had 40 ballots that ended up being able to be sampled there. 31 of them were for Mike Braun, 9 were for Jennifer McCormick, and that race is complete with 99% confidence that that election was also.
At this point, which I figured this was probably going to be the race where we would need to sample more because it was a little bit closer, we have not reached our level of confidence for the county commissioner 2 race. So what we are going to continue to do is we will stop for president and we will stop for governor, but these samples and where you're sampling will still continue. And we will continue on with just looking at the county commissioner 2's race until we reach that level of confidence. All right. So sampling will continue, but we'll only be looking at that county commissioner district 2 race. So you all are complete. You can save your sheets and send it to me. That would be great.
How many do you want us to sample, like other 10?
Let's go ahead and let's start out. Yeah, I would go 5. Yeah, we'll start with 5. We'll go kind of in groups of 5. I'll try to get them as I hear them. Actually, yeah, we could honestly just go ballot by ballot.
Yeah.
That's sequentially is probably going to be our best bet. So as you all come in to report, you're going to report to Austin and I. And I will update those ones as we go. Oh, okay.
Sometimes I should.
What I can do is actually have you switch places so we can
I can
display,
pick the winner and on.
yeah, we can display Austin's race up there for everybody to see. If you don't switch.
There's number 6.
It's all right. That's our first email. Let's see. Okay.
All right, give me just a second here.
We gotta get 5 out of these?
Yeah, I mean, go for another, yeah, we'll see how many we actually need. Five is our.
Yeah, Bruce over there, he's gonna display it.
Yes. Mail, correct?
Yeah, you got it. So what it-
Yeah, that one for courthouse. There.
That's why you were gonna. I'm sorry. Sorry, it was.
We're already to 89%. We're getting there. 4, 31, 14. Just by the line,
I would say let's do it. We're in 5 then, right? After that series of 15.
95%.
6.
All right.
That 2.
Let's go.
So that one, skip that. Go ahead and take that next top ballot if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Since it was not going to be cast.
Too bad. Too bad. All right, let's see where we are now. Yeah, one year. So yeah, 30. Plus 98%.
So now we are going sequentially, so we are going ballot by ballot. So currently, we are at 47 ballots now, 33 for Bennett, 14 for Brush, and we're at 98%. So we're gonna keep going sequentially to get us to that 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume with 1 or 2 more ballots, if they are for Bennett, if they are for Brush, it could kick it back down, right? That's always the game you play. But I'm feeling good about this game. I'm feeling lucky today. So I'm saying let's keep going. Maybe after this, I should go to the music. I'll see.
I heard Tom and Will are gonna join you.
Oh, really? Going on down there.
Okay.
All right.
Only 5 country miles from here, Matt.
This federal only.
Oh, so we can't use that one.
Use the next one.
Yeah, we can use the next one.
Yep.
The last one.
So that's just
Audience?
Under vote.
That's it.
I'll be done.
One.
All right, next one. Looks like we got more boxes filled in. All right. Oh, it's a brush. You guys can start talking.
That is, I think that is it for you all to sample. Yeah. No, like, or what, are you in mail?
Yeah, we've got,
Only 4?
no, there's, were there 4 or were there 5? Oh, you're right, 4.
Okay, so if you sampled that 5th one for Brush, we're not gonna include it because that one we didn't need.
No, that was only my 4th. So these are.
That was the 4th one.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I don't know what. So we're done.
So now you guys are gonna be on to I was gonna say, actually, if you wanna take that half.
Oh, another half?
Yeah.
All right, workout time.
Okay.
All right.
We did the whole stack.
You guys, they were supposed to cut that whole thing.
Yeah, 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 you can do it.
You can do it.
Move on.
Gonna feel this one tomorrow.
There's
Oh, yeah.
two.
Yep, that's me. Oh, okay. Which one? 9:30.
What?
Some people left at 10:15.
I think you still have one more, two more.
You know what, I grew up to Ohio.
Everything else, we make all of these back.
That's why you
go into election day.
Has got a little Arlo
So if it.
Oh, it's the.
Because we're just
I'm
about.
not there yet, and he's not really there yet. This guy's
Yeah, you can. What do you call it? Dog one.
Full of dollars, then. You don't have to hear. That's the person who comes. We're gonna take this one.
Yeah.
We're above that 90.
We're gonna pump you up.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, so we're rooting for you. You gotta get it.
Five.
Just kidding.
Oh, no, you find.
Like you're seeing like a friend.
Not a friend, but like.
Okay. And then after this,
And then if we have to do it again, then we'll.
But we should.
Most of that, that's
Keep going.
So you all, these are, the courthouse ballots are done.
not as much, but
So all of those ballots can now go back into that bag. So put all of the other sample ones can go in there
and we'll take
as well.
My daughter
See who bailed you out?
had a Labrador.
And then we're gonna move to the election.
Oh, listen, I don't want to hear it over there.
Me and Tom came to you guys' rescue.
Yeah, whatever.
I gotta show them.
No.
All right, well, this is Arlo in the snow
And then the next one will be the election day back.
You get the people?
He-
Just people working?
Actually, do you want to give that to them? while we're doing
Is this one?
And what we're gonna do is take an election day bag, we're gonna split it into two, just like we did for the courthouse. While we take one out, my ballot, election day, sign in, that would be great. That just lets us know who was touching, handling, looking at ballots for security purposes.
So we should.
Election day, so you're gonna wanna take that election day bag. You're gonna say tech center, tech center, and then in parentheses, election day.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
And then Spencer, if you want, open up that bag, split it, one to this section and one to this.
Oh.
Like the investigation. Yeah, that's the same one.
Affiliation. All these in one pile.
So I thought, touched it, I gave
You get a cut too, Tom?
Oh, man, you got
You need to go upstairs.
you got a paper cut?
Yes. So there's, we
All right.
He's acting like one of the girls.
And so if they.
Band-Aids, talk to Band-Aids on each side.
It's going up from there, it's going down, and this one.
Branded,
Band-Aids.
branded.
So that's how we get.
Do they even make those? They do, like,
You gotta buy a
And so
ton of them.
that's why those. They all short.
they're like, this is a new one.
Every vote for us kicks it down.
How, is this your hat right here, Tom? What you doing putting that on your hat? Look at this.
Well, we had cut going.
A larger,
Yeah.
So
There's one.
it could have been either 4th and 2. It was snowing. So
Two.
he took a 5-yard penalty, but he got the first down. So we might need to trade out for Tom for a second here.
And he scotch tape it.
Yeah, I guess
Where's the
what?
Band-Aids at?
Yeah, do we have any?
This one is new.
Hey, Cindy? Tom needs a Band-Aid.
Or will you sub in for him for a second? He said scotch tape would work too.
There's three.
yes.
There's five. Where you want me to go? How far up?
That's good.
Right here?
Yeah.
That's good. Wouldn't you know he picked the Democrat?
Yeah, you could just sit right here. Oh.
Okay, here we go. There's, man, I cut it back to your bloody one. One. Two.
They stack the SEC. Missouri's like 5.
Three.
I understand.
Just come on over and play in the SEC. We can be there, go to the SEC.
Five.
If you have. Successful.
Oh, six. Yeah, it did. Yep.
All right.
Oh my God.
One. Two. Three.
Well, they beat. Yeah, beat them.
Five. Six. There you go.
Right. Is a brass brush.
That's not what we need, Mark.
I'm not doing it. Just reading it. Just reading it. Since we lost Tom, honestly, it's gone off the board since we lost Tom.
That was the big thing, that's the reason.
Michigan's supposed to be.
There should be another one down there.
There's our.
Number 6.
We're trying to keep our votes going.
Two minutes, there should be 38.
I'm trying to do this. out.
2. You got that going now?
We can get
3.
2 or 3 more benefits.
4. 5. 6.
All right. Sir. Little Bennett.
I mean, all we need.
I don't know, we'll just keep them going.
Yeah.
I would say if there's 2 or 3 more benefits, that'll put us at our 99. Now, here's the question, Karen, County Election Board. We are currently at 94 or 96%. If we keep going, right, we were at 98 and now we're at 96 or 90, 96. And so if we keep going, what was that? 40 minutes. So, hold on, let's see where we're at. We're at 97%. So if we keep going and we get a brush or something, you know, for the other candidate, it's going to drop down. So how many more would you think you'd like to sample? Do we want to keep going or do you want to stop at your 97?
How many more we have to do this?
We've got to make a decision. We're at 97% right now.
Is 97 confident enough, or do we need to get to 99?
Yes.
Is the question.
Because that's where we're currently at 97. So this is where ballot polling, this is where it really is like, how confident do you all want to be? And so we can keep going and we'll keep going ballot for ballot if you would like. Like I think in Gibson County, it was like,
Keep going.
okay, if we get to like 4, you know, like we get 15 more minutes wherever we're at, as long as it's above, we're going to stop or something like that. So if you want to keep going?
Keep going.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there we go. There's 1. 3.
97, aye.
I know. Actually, I could look at the results and see, you could see.
5.
Mail-in votes.
6.
It's a breather. Oh, that's probably.
All right, we have hit it. It's red because I don't know why the tool is doing that. I don't know if it's just like not reading it as green, but everybody can clearly see that it is 0.01. And so that is our 99% confidence. Now, with the other races, I do want to show you this. The other races that were on there, I have to put back in the totals because I had just went to this one. But with the other totals, those were actually 0 instead of 0.01. Now, we can't be 100% confident, but what that means is it was greater than 99% and less than 100%. So really, for those 2 races, you're looking at between 99 and 100% confidence.
So we're looking at 99.99.
Potentially, I don't know. The tool doesn't round bar that down. Now, what I will say is that for your audit report, when I actually develop this audit report, it will state 99% confidence for all 3 races. And so that's what's going to end up going into the tool will be that. You can expect, first off, congratulations, round of applause for Again, this just goes to show the great work that you all as election officials are doing to ensure that these votes are tabulated correctly. We're really glad that we can come in and you all now can say with 99% confidence that the presidential race, for the governor's race, and your county 2 commissioners races, that those election outcomes were correctly reported with 99% confidence. Now, the really great thing is you're running those ballots, the same exact ballots we sampled, through the same exact scanners. So it gives you the ability to say, well, if these 3 races in different areas of the ballot were all correct, that scanner was reading these ballots as tabulated. So that even gives you that additional confidence to say for your other races, even though we didn't audit them, that those races were used using the same machines and tabulated using the same machines, right? So it does give you that also that level of confidence in your total results. You will probably be, so it's a little bit unique because we have Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holiday season coming around where time is off, extended time is off for both the VSTOP team and for others around the state. And so there's a very good chance that your final audit report will probably not come until mid-January, okay? I was like, oh no. I was like, and that is because we are going to be auditing literally every week through December 20th. So I can't even begin to write these audit reports until then. And of course, Christmas is the following week and I will be taking 2 weeks off. And so then I will get back in January and I will start those reports. So you can expect it. If you all have a member of the media or your local newspaper or a local station that, would like to run a story on this, I'm happy to provide a quick sentence in writing describing how many ballots were sampled and your result, and I can get that to them. So you can always just have those members of the media call me, or if you all would like an email, I can just send you a quick email with a very simple explanation of those results. Okay? Does that sound like a plan?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, great work, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Congratulations. I was looking to see if you had any comments.
That's right.
And the process.
Yeah. Side by side? Yes.